Start recording. So welcome to the class. Today we are going to repeat the class about letting go. It was interesting class for me on Friday, and I will show you the drawing that I've done on Friday. And I received already several letters from people who were drawing not during the class, but after the class was uploaded, they seen it, and it's like very interesting, very powerful experiences that people share with me. So I hope that this class will be as powerful. One more thing that I wanted to share you is that letting go is we need to name what we want to let go. I believe that if we say that I just want to let go what doesn't serve me anymore, will not give you any good. Because we have to acknowledge what is holding us back, what is really, why is it holding your back, and give it enough gratitude and honor that it was serving us at some point. So that it's like, so when we say that, like, I just let go everything, so I don't believe it will go. It's not going to happen. We need to name it. We need to stay with this and experience it, because there was some good and bad experience related to it. So it's not just general letting go. So as always, I'm not very good at holding breaks. So feel free that you can do whatever you need on your side. No permissions needed. And we're all adults here. So I believe we can be very gentle to ourselves if it's needed. So if any questions, let me know. And what else? Any concerns, let me know, because wherever you ask questions, it's more interesting for everyone, including myself. So I'm the one who, like every workshop I attend, I'm the curious George. I'm like always asking questions. This is the way I'm learning, like asking questions and receiving answers. And I encourage you to ask them as much as possible from me, because this is the way I learn from you, and I learn in general. So this is what I love, to hear and ask questions. Okay, so before we can start, I want you to think about what you are ready to let go. Something that is holding you back. It could be very concrete subject, like I want to let go grief about this person, or I want to let go my specific painful experience in past, and you can let go some emotions related to it. Or it could be more general, like for example on Friday I started to work with in general with the sense of guilt, and during the drawing the guilt become more like maternal guilt, that me as a parent, as a mother, had some guilt, not huge, but it was there, and I was able to make it more concrete and more precise and name it and release it. So it's very important to name it, what you want to let go. And I think it's when we just name it, that I want to let go my anger, suppressed anger, it's already releasing like 50% of it, because you know that you have it, you face it, you're already looking at it, and it's instead of ignoring, you accepting. So when you name it, you accept it somehow. Okay, so I want you to think about what you want to let go today. And it was interesting, like on Friday I knew what I wanted, but I was like, what I'm going to do on Wednesday? I don't feel anything that really is boiling. And yesterday I had a class, I attended the class about Neurographica. And somebody mentioned, not somebody, like the Pavel, creator of this method, mentions it, like people really don't allow themselves to feel joy in full capacity, that they have limitations how much they can feel joy. I mean joy and pleasure in general. So today I want to let go my limitations about my ability and willingness to experience joy in and pleasure in my body, in my emotions, in my mind as well. So I have this is my goal. This is what I'm going to let go. And I'm like, yours will be unique as well. So, and we will do, so I want you to like give you a minute just to think what you want to let go. If you already done a class on Friday and you want to repeat it, like if you feel that something still be stuck, do it. Like we can repeat this class, this lesson as many times as needed, because every time there will be different level and we're going deeper and deeper. And even guilt, for example, could be have a different flavors. It could be maternal guilt, it could be daughter's guilt, it could be country as a citizenship guilt, or as a spouse or anything. Like it could be different aspects if you want, but if you want to move forward, you're welcome as well. So it's up to you. So I'm
one more question.
Okay.
So you're talking about guilt. Should we apply forgiveness? It's like I'd like to forgive somebody, or it's a different subject.
For forgiveness, it's a very sensitive subject, because when we try to forgive somebody, we place ourselves in a position higher than that person. We have to accept the person as a teacher. And in like when we and just give gratitude for the experience, even painful experience in our lives from that person. I don't, especially when we talk about the forgiveness of our parents, like parents are always have a higher hierarchy in our lives. So I don't believe that we as children can forgive our parents. We can accept them as they are, and we accept the goodness that they can give us, but and challenges as they can give us, because challenge is what makes us stronger and what makes us unique in the world. Even if sometimes it's like very horrible experiences. I've seen many people who parents are the cruelest people in the world. So it's it could be challenge, like significant challenge. So I'm not sure if we will even work on the theme forgiveness. As you can let go the pain of the experience that person caused, but it's not exactly about forgiving. I believe that only God can forgive us, and it's only we can forgive ourselves. So you can what I've like from personal experience, when I like put myself in a position where I was like really damaged, emotionally damaged, the most grudge I had, not on the person who did it, but on myself, that I placed myself there. And like I'm aware of it, but it still be the best you can do is forgive yourself. So this could be about forgiveness.
So guilt and shame, it's a kind of close thing. You know, sometimes we feel guilty to be ashamed of something we did it.
And it's the most complex and most difficult things to let go, guilt and shame.
Mm-hmm.
So in psychology, it's considered the most difficult, the most challenging issues to work with. So if you're ready to let go guilt and shame, they can be together. So they I believe they like sisters, and it's interesting that in the middle, when you start approaching them, there could be some fear as well, fear and anger. So it could be several steps before you really reaching to the core of the problem. So it could be different layers. It's complex. When we reaching the guilt, it's complex. So I hope it's but you can name one of them and you see, and just like notice if anything will be changing, if anything will be transformed during the drawing. So it's okay. So now I'm if no more questions, and please feel free to ask whenever there are some of them. So I will set up 2 minutes timer, and we will do all associations, words, simple words, could be repeated, could be not appropriate words, could be names of people that you related, like that comes up in your mind related to the theme that you're working today on. Okay, so I will put theme, letting go, limitations. Okay, set, go. We still have about 25 seconds. Okay, interesting. So do we have anything on your list that really strikes you, that really is unusual and you would not expect it? Or maybe it's so much that it's
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting to see that I should not be focusing so much on drawing. Need to find to do other things.
Mm. Okay. So for me, and as I already mentioned, that my theme is letting go limitations about joy. And you will be surprised, I have like 20 times repeated the word fear. 20 times. It's first time happens to me. It's like so much. So my very vague themes like letting go limitations goes very concrete experience and very suppressed fear that is hiding there. So this joy and fear is always two sides of the same medal. Okay, so this is like, I know already that my theme is transformed and I'm going to let go the fear. And this, I'm definitely name it. So I'm like, I'm facing it's a big experience today. Anybody else wants to share what's unusual on their list? No, no people shows up. Like interesting. Maybe some. Okay, so I'm switching my camera and we'll start to draw. It's today we have quite discussion. So this is the one of the drawings that I've done before. So this when I was practicing about letting go. So I used a black paper and white gel pen. So this is a drawing from my Friday class, and if you see, there is a green shaman dancing with the drum and holding the heart. So this was about motherhood or motherly guilt, which is always fun to work with. This was just another practicing about gel pens and black paper, so that, but I don't really like to combine different colors because it doesn't give me the sense of unity. So I want you to be, everything should be connected. I feel like this is more about disconnection, even it's colorful. And today I decided to work on white with a black marker. So I really don't want to play with black one. So this one I want to work with my regular black marker on white paper. And as always, not always, like what we are going to do. So the first of all, I want you to draw on a piece of paper any shape that will represent the theme that you want to let go. So my theme has shifted. I want to let go my fear that I wasn't aware of. But so my fear may look like this. It could be any shape. So I want you to draw, and it could be smaller or bigger. And you can even like place your hand on the shape and maybe see where in your body it's located. Like where does it live in your body? Interesting. I know that I'm talking a lot about like that emotions stored in separate in body parts, but this one is like very clear that this is stored in suppressed in my kidneys. Interesting. Okay, so just see, maybe it's in your throat, maybe it's in any other, maybe it's an old injury that was some of your things that you're letting go is concentrated. It still be living in your body, but it could be concentrated in some specific parts of it. And next, what we are going to do, I'm going to hold my marker like this. So I'm channeling all the energy through the marker. And I'm holding it like 90 degrees to the paper. I'm collecting all this thing that I'm going to let go. I'm collecting all my fear from all my body, especially from kidneys that I already identified where they live permanently. And I make a deep breath in, inhale, and when I exhale, I'll just do catharsis in the shape of the paper. If you feel like you go beyond, you go beyond. So I'm like, let it inhale and exhale. I'll do, okay, it's a quite catharsis. And I noticed that it's bigger than my shape. So so do yours. Do yours. And if I have catharsis bigger than my shape, it means I underestimate the impact of this feeling to my life. So there is some underestimation, but it's not, thank God it's not the whole page. So now I'm going to just make another border that I will identify the real size of this feeling. So you see, it's much bigger now. So I'm kind of identify the value of this emotion to my life, to my body as well. And we start, I always advise to start rounding from this catharsis. Catharsis should be rounded before we can do anything else. So I highly recommend you just start rounding. Just allow it to be all corners inside of your shape. Just start rounding them. And pay attention how your body reacting. Do you have any reactions? My body is like very reactive. I have not a headache, but I have very heavy head. Like something is shifting in my head. And it's not very pleasant, but it's what needs to be done. I have a very clear trust that I just need to move forward and do step by step what's need to be done.
And this bigger shape should they follow the first shape, or
it can have completely different outline. Mine is almost look the same, and it looks like a kettle. But yours could be like, maybe it was spiky at the beginning, but it can be more rounded after you really identify the size, the new size of it.
This bigger shape should include all this catharsis inside.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We're just trying to identify new size, like the real size of this feeling.
Okay.
Because for example, I'll just show you, like, for example, if you say that this is something like, okay, I'm going to let go of my fear. This is just impacting my life so much. And you making like this catharsis, it's definitely underestimate. And I want you first to see how big it is, how really you're acting from the fear, not from the other emotions. This, just looking at it could be overwhelming. Because when we look at the real size, at the real value, we give honor and respect to the feeling. Because when we underestimate, it's we kind of don't respect it.
Okay. And for example, that what you draw as an example, in this case, should people start rounding these small roundings, these catharsis, or only edges, or not edges, but acute angles of the catharsis?
So I will integrate my first outline in all roundings as well. So for example, my lines going here, and I will integrate them as well, because they can be just because it was my original vision of the size, and it's very important. So I still connect it, I still integrate it to the whole picture. So everything that is inside of your new outline needs to be rounded and integrated. And we will do more lines later. So
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And always, like, pay attention. How do you breathe? Do you even breathe? How deep, how fast, how freely, like. And maybe you can even notice how do you use lower lungs, like diaphragm, or do you use stomach to breathe, or is it just a little bit sip of air that's going just a little bit, not enough to your lungs, even like could be very shallow. So those breathing is could be very powerful. And if you have a difficulty of breathing, in general difficulty of breathing, you just observe it. We don't really force anything. We don't really make any changes. We allow it to witness and accept how you breathe right now, without any judging. Like, be curious about yourself. Like, oh, interesting. I'm breathing this way today. And it's depending on a different subjects, the breathing will be changing. In general, at the end of the class, it's a deeper breathing, but it could be different. The theme could be different. Your emotions could be very different, and it's breathing patterns will be different. So. And if you feel like crying, you can allow yourself to cry. Just maybe tears could be very healing, and they representing letting go some of it as well. So I was reading a book about astrology and a specific zodiac signs. And it's interesting for example, for Cancer, when they overwhelmed, it's highly suggested to start crying because they emotional and sometimes just too much water in the body. So it's physically prescribed for them to start crying, to let go some emotions. And some just cleaning through the water is healing for them. So it's, if we have any cancers here, so allow yourself to cry sometimes. We really don't. There is very strict rules like boys don't cry, or after certain age is like when you cry you show your weakness, nobody should see it. It's very strict limitations, and when we suppress something it makes even more powerful and more needed. So allow yourself, give yourself permission that when I feel I need to cry, I will. And cry could be joyful as well, like tears of joy could be very healing. And it's interesting that like people who were very strict and very limiting themselves during adulthood or even childhood, at the age of when they reach senior age, they could be very like crying babies. I remember my grandfather, he was very concrete, very strict person. Like I loved him very dearly. He was never been strict to me, but with age he just started crying about everything that crossed, that was just a little bit more emotional than regular. Like he could watch the cartoons and it's nothing really has happened there, but he started crying because emotions were so much suppressed and concentrated in his world, in his reality, that it was almost at some point impossible to hold anymore. And again, it's not really necessary to feel that you need to cry when it's all bad. It could be just any strong emotions can cause such reaction. And it just helps to release some of it, excess of emotions.
And do you think it's not good when some adults says to children like, oh, you're a boy, you don't have to cry, like, or you're old enough, you don't have to cry? This is somehow people suppress.
Yes.
They,
I believe it's a very it will be we should not do, as parents we should not suppress emotions in any children, and doesn't really depends on gender. Children learn how to express their emotions. This is their job. to learn how to express them, to identify and give the reaction. And if we say that you cannot cry when it's painful, they will have some kind of substitute how to express their emotions. And it could be not what the parents will like at the later. So they will learn to how to hide their emotions like very soon. And it's when our body cannot do what it's supposed to do, when it feels uncomfortable, when we feel like we need to run and we have to stay, there will be some reactions, health reactions that we cannot really identify, but it will be causing big problems. So like we cannot identify roots, but it could be related, it's always related to emotions and our suppressing them. So boys, if they feel like if 5 years old child needs to cry, they will need to cry. So there is nothing to be ashamed of it. And if we say that like, no, 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 another thing that like as a parent, you may create a safe environment for them where they can feel comfortable crying. Not put it on the display, like look at him, he is crying right now, like a girl. But allow himself like to take him somewhere safe, where there is no crowd around and where he can feel comfortable to express those emotions and feel protected by somebody he can trust. So this is more important than just suppressing. And I know that I'm a mother of 2 boys, and it's like really like my older one was expressing emotions very strong. So when he felt like crying, he did not really listen to anybody. So, and right now I understand that it's what his purpose of it was. And but it could be a challenge for parents as well, because when parents don't feel comfortable sharing their emotions, they feel very uncomfortable when their children starts to express their emotions. And children just reflect as a mirror. The more we suppress it in ourselves, the more it will be expressed by children. Okay, so my next step. So now I have quite a big rounded catharsis in my limitation. This is the very strong boundaries that I'm holding it. And what I'm doing next, with a narrow line, I allow it to go. I'm crossing the outlines and I let it go. Like you can even do like breathe in and breathe out, you crossing the line and go to the border. Breathe in, and with breathe out, you crossing and let go. And see, how do you feel? And it could be from anywhere you feel, not necessarily from sharp corners. It could be from any point, and it could be from the middle, and it can be from anywhere. So the point is you letting it go, you dissolving this in the surroundings, and this like you crossing these limitations, you crossing these boundaries that you created. First of all, it was created by you. It could be encouraged by other people, but it was created by you. There is and
I can ask a question that goes back a little bit in my catharsis.
Mm-hmm.
I have this weird dot that or line that's like not connected to anything when I did the catharsis, just like a random slash against the paper, like this little thing right, I don't know where it is here. Oh, there. Do I
Yes.
incorporate that, or how do I?
Yes. Yeah, you just connect it. You can create a
Okay.
narrow line and connect it to the catharsis first, and just
Okay.
allow it to flow to the edge and beyond.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sometimes we have even like the catharsis, and somewhere in the just one dot, like it could be very well defined dot, but it will be separated from anything. And this could be very important dot because it could be a trigger, some word or some quality of surroundings like blue sky, and it will remind you and activate the whole system. So what is and you don't really feel the connection. You those are two different like puzzle pieces, and it's really, you don't feel that it's related to anything, like how the blue sky can be related to my fear that I experience. But because the biggest fear that happened to you, there was the same blue sky. You don't remember it consciously, but it can be very important trigger. And it's, you just connect it to the whole catharsis and allow it to be released as well. So I won't be very free about such triggers. And it's really quite often we have such lines in catharsis that seems don't really connect it to anything, but it brings so much attention to it, our attention, and it means it's very important. So, and when you feel you have enough lines, you start rounding the corners. And pay attention again. I'm like always repeating, pay attention to 3 points: your body reactions, your emotions, and your mind. What are you thinking about it? Maybe you start receiving some flashbacks from the past, or maybe some childhood memories and something that you really don't remember, but it's and it's, we're not talking about that you can choose like I want only pleasant memories to show up. Right now we're letting go, so letting go could be unpleasant. Some of this can be strong emotions, and it's, we just observe them. We don't really judge anything right now. We're letting go. We let it go. And if it's overwhelming, so many lines for you, you may identify how much I'm ready to let go right now. How deep I want to go in this experience. I know this is a little bit too much. And it's, so you identify how deep you can go. And it's different experience, always different experience when you do it just by yourself and nobody really talking around you. And you can have some privacy, but I love to work in groups, because when the whole group is attuned, and we are like, there is no coincidences who is in the group. It's always there is a specific agenda for the whole group, not just for each participant, but for the group in general. And on group energies, you can go much faster and much more effective. So it's just, I'm actually the group person. I love to work in groups. And it's for my personal healing journeys, and as a healer as well. I believe this is a very powerful energies that we can be chatting, like just energetically aligned together. Feel supported by that energy. And see if your body reactions are moving. So, for example, I noticed that from my kidneys, it's the uncomfortable, and like, I'm honestly, it's the first time I ever felt my kidneys. I'm like, what's, I never paid attention to them, like they always behaved well. But right now, the uncomfortable experience and feelings moved to my stomach or lower side of the tummy. And it's what I love about this 2 minutes exercise, that like whenever you feel like, oh, I'm so ready, worked well on this subject, I have nothing to let go. It's always remind you, no, there is still be something that you don't addressed, something that you ignored. And sometimes you, to protect yourself, you believe, like you honestly believe that, well, it's not an issue anymore. Especially when we worked on something so many years, and it seems like again, I already done it. So, and it's you've done it, and that's why you probably able to do it right now, because you've done so much work before, and you can just go to a different level of this powerful feeling. But it will make you even more powerful.
Anna, I have a question about the drawing part. So when we do a rounding, is that certain like direction? Are we going from bottom up, up the bottom? Does that matter? Because I'm kind of like on the right side and I drop it and I go on the left side. So it's any chronology, like
No.
chronically you can.
No, there is no really the rules about which direction you have to move your lines. Just pay attention that all lines, like the best if they will be evenly spread around the paper. Like if you have like if you're letting go only in one corner and the rest there's nothing really, no lines, this can be indication that you allowed to be released, like at work or in society, but doesn't share anything with your family. So there is some it's my division. It's not even Pavel Piskarov's division. Like I usually divide the paper on the right side. Right is usually your relationship with your father, with your community, with your social position. Left is your mother, your family, very intimate relationship inside of the family, like how much you trust, and women in general. So, and lower side is how you feel grounded and how you connected to your past. And the upper is how you really allow yourself to dream big about future and how you allow to be connected to higher energies. Like if this grounding, so this is more like divine connection, so the energies. And what I'm looking, if everything is at balance, if everything is has an even amount of lines, or and you can notice that lines will have different qualities at each side. So just observe it. It's interesting just how to observe it. Again, this is my my perspective, and when I feel like doing comments, I sometimes like pay attention to it, especially like when we feel grounding, like how you really allow yourself to be grounded, how you allow yourself to feel your body, to feel present at this moment. Many people have very big dreams and minimize the value of what has happened in the past. So this is very dangerous, because there will be no future if there is no past. And how you really express yourself at the present moment. So it's do you feel balanced or not? This is your supporting, like the lower side is like really how you feel supported, how you feel by the earth, by the grounding energies, by your body. Earth is always about your body. And you will not be like, I feel like I repeated it already like many times, but you will not be able to channel like really strong energies from the sky if you're not grounded enough. They will be, you will be uncomfortable with those energies, with those high vibrations. If you cannot feel your body, if you cannot really channel it to the ground, you are just how do you call it, like channel pipe. You should be as clean pipe as possible, but you need to belong to the ground first. So, let me know of any other questions. And this is, do you really, what is the challenge? How does it changing your emotional experience right now when you cross those boundaries, when you allow yourself just let it go, like that there is no boundaries anymore, really? that you can cross them at any time. And again, like when we use the narrow lines, it's has this organic quality that it helps create this safe and gentle environment. A sense of like, I can let it go very safe, and at the level, gentleness level, that I will feel comfortable. I don't need to make any really sudden moves or very, how to say, overwhelming moves. I can be slow. And if you feel like some of these lines are going too fast, slow down. This will be like, if you allow yourself to slow down, you will experience emotions at completely different level. Like when, especially when we have this sense of fear, like when, if you're going through the dark alley, like a dark park, and if you start feeling that somebody is watching you or something bad can happen, you start running, you really start speeding up. Everything starts speeding up. So I want, even if it's like just in your imagination, but allow yourself to slow down and really experience what is going on, why I am rushing through this point, why I'm trying to, what I'm trying to avoid, and just be with this. It's, you will be surprised that sometimes it's not even about big trauma. It could be some just unknown. Unknown could be scary.
It's fine you say unknown. That was on my actually list of the words. Twice I read it.
And like in Russia, we have this saying that it's not as, the devil is not as scary as we trying to draw it. So it's really, when we don't know something, we create such a horrible image of it that the truth could be much less dramatic. But we unknown could be very scary. So just experience it. And if you have this unknown, you can later, like when we start bringing some shapes, and you can just bring a circle that will represent what you don't know, and you just accept it as it is without really, it's not about judging, but just see. And maybe it will have some special defined shape that will give you some clues, or just some peace with identifying it. I have a lot of secrets, family secrets, country secrets, some things that we really tried to forget.
Excuse me, Anna. I have to disconnect and connect again through the other device. Is it okay?
Yes, I'm just, thank you for letting me know, because I will be aware I have to admit you again. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Give me like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So we are rounding all those lines on sides, and next step we will start bringing some resources, but the most important is like really to recognize resource inside of what is going on already inside of us. Because when we transformed all the corners in rounded patterns, in rounded nexuses, it's a little bit, it gives a sense of safety. It gives a sense of harmony and balance. Okay, so next what I start doing, I start bringing elements that will represent, like if I look at my drawing, after I rounded everything, my catharsis look like a sponge. And this sponge is ready to absorb any feeling that I want to substitute with instead of what I'm letting go. So now I'm ready to accept instead of letting go, what I want to accept. And the first I want to do is gratitude. And it's, I'm usually draw just a circle somewhere nearby. And this is enough, but on my drawing, I'm like very clearly see that there is already a shape that reminds me circle, and I just want to expand it. So this will be my gratitude to this feeling, this fear that I experienced, because it's really had some good things, like it's protected me. Okay, so this is like really not a very good circle, but I'm just repeating till I feel satisfied with the size and with the shape. And I'm like integrating it. If your circle is on a distance from this catharsis, you may bring more lines from the circle to the catharsis and connect everything. So mine is just already is a part of the catharsis. So it's I don't really need to connect. I'm just start rounding right away. But it's yours could be different. So just make sure that this gratitude, like that you feel this void that happened, that you really allow yourself to complete yourself with, instead of something letting go, with something pleasant, something that you really can feel comfortable with. And so you can go and do like this. I always start with a gratitude. Gratitude and love have the highest vibrations. And when we let go something that has a low vibration, it would be better options to substitute with higher feelings. last time I did gratitude, love, hope, and faith. So this, for example, depending on your theme. So this one I want to give myself sense of security, sense of love, and maybe something else. Like, so you can choose whatever you want to bring in your life. What do you want to invite in your life? It could be like completely opposition of what you experienced, or maybe not so much.
Sorry, that line have to be in the bottom of page, because mine it's kind of like an X shape and go from bottom up. Is that matter, or we can create a new circle?
You can create a new circle. You can completely draw another circle somewhere. So for example, if I want to bring love, and I don't really see that anything here, so I can just draw any circle here, and it will represent love. And I can even bring more lines from outside. It go through my circle, and it's feel and enrich myself and all this space in my body that was storing this fear that I'm letting go. So instead of fear, I have love, and this, and love is going through me and it going beyond me. So I can express this love, not just to myself, but to people around me and to everyone. So, and I start just rounding again. So this is, I just felt like this belonging here. So this, I already, because I worked already so much on the theme before, I felt like this is already part of the catharsis. There is some gratitude. And for example, the next one, I see another part of the circle, that sense of security, safety. I want to be safe. And I just expand the circle. And it will be like this. It's more like not even circle, it's more like an egg. Something is already. And it's interesting, like really fear and safety are very, like they really two sides of the same coin. And it's lack of one will bring another to grow. So they kind of have. So and it's in my story, so it looks like the safety is inside of the fear. So the safety, and it could be because it's inside. It could be even deeper on different level from what I remember as a painful experience to me. So the experience could be just a reminder of a different. And I'm not a big fan about like talking about, oh, this is your past life experience and this is just a reflection. I believe that like whatever happens this lifetime is already enough to work on. So don't really try to make it more complicated. And I believe that whatever we haven't done and haven't resolved in our past lives it will be expressed somehow in present life. So it's don't try to excuse anything by your past lives and like many lives before. So it's very easy to ignore our current life and our present experiences by excusing them with our past experiences, like not even, especially with the experiences that you cannot confirm or deny. So it's I've done several times past lives regressions, and it was very powerful experiences. But what I want trying to tell you that like the situations are changing, but the subject still be the same. It's like really the same problems in past lives that I experienced had the same impact and the same experiences in my present life. And it's you can believe in it or not, it's really doesn't matter. So we have all this information needed right here, right now. You and just stay with this. All needed information we have. And we have not just information, we have all needed resources within us. So maybe they not as much as you expect, but it should be enough. You have to just accept the fact that like, okay, what I can do with as much as I have right now. And if you have not enough, maybe you just has less expectations, and maybe setting goals are different, not focusing on the big goal right now, but practice the small step, art of the small changes, small steps. It's and it doesn't matter that you will never achieve big goals. You just will have a different pace, a different approach to it. So and it's another thing that like many psychics telling me that we have the same group of people, the same group of souls that are traveling together, and we just sometimes changing the roles, but it still be the same people we're working with every lifetime. And it's so it's really, what's the point going to past lives if you have a lot to do in the current one? I did one of my past life regressions, and I had a very clear vision that I'm married to the same man, and we have exactly the same situation as we moving forward, like through the experiences. So it's like okay, it's just a different time, but the same issues. If you haven't done it before, you have another chance to work on it. And I'm like, it was very interesting. But the past life regression really did not solve anything. It just confirmed that, like, really nothing has changed. You have to deal with this. And it's like, you haven't done your homework before. It's time to fix it right now. Okay, so I have already 3 elements that I added. I have gratitude, I have love, I have security. And if you want to add anything else, please feel free to add as much as you need. And they could be different sizes, and they could be a different location. Some of them could be distant, some of them could be in your catharsis. Just make sure that everything is connected, that you really bring these energies with lines and feed yourself with those new feelings, and allow yourself to be whole. And I cannot say that, like, the goal is to feel joy. It's another thing that I'm like really it's like, if you don't feel joyful at the end of your drawing, that it's minimize the whole experience. Like, sometimes to feel pain and accept pain is enough powerful for the drawing. So I don't really feel that you need to be always joyful. The process is the most important. What you experienced, what kind of feelings you experienced. Some maybe interesting observations about yourself, some understanding. And it may look small to other people, but it's big for you, and this is what matters. Your experiences in your process is the most important.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's very heavy, and I think my right eye is very mushed now. So it's weird. And I'm breathless.
Only right?
It's funny, only right. Yeah, it's no allergies. Don't know what's that mean.
Right? Could be about your father. Something. But it's again, it's such a limitation if we just say, like, left is always about women, right is about men. It's just stay with the experience. Don't try to I know that I'm trying to analyze, but I'm like, lately I start asking myself, is it really needed or not? Because if you experience it, and it's this is important. It's and it's
Let
another
it go.
Mhm. Yes. So and it's again, it's when you saw at the beginning, you were talking about unknown and what you really don't see. Like the eyes is about unknown, what you cannot really see. What do you want to see is could be what you don't notice.
Oh, that's a good analyzation. Thank you. Wow.
So, and just stay with this. It's we really always have like in our modern society, we always have to have a goal. We have to do something like, and we decide, did we approach the goal? Did we reach the goal or not? That we losing the beauty of the process. And it's like, what is your life's purpose? Like everybody is concerned about life purpose these days. And I'm like, we dedicate our life to find the purpose in our lives. And it's like we're running in the same loop over and over because like we cannot find the right purpose, and it's like, or it seems like meaningless. And I know how important it could be, but if we can just enjoy the process, could be the purpose of life. I just enjoy life. I just enjoy being present, feeling present, and it's maybe it's not really like changing the world to the better place. If you can change your life to the better place for you, because you enjoyed the process more than be anxious about your purpose in life, it will change the world. Little changes will cause big impact in the world, and it's you're changing to the process, paying attention to the process. Your children will be more aware of the process, and it's will change much more people and affect more people and makes everybody more happier. Like if we it's interesting, like when I was a tax advisor, I had a client, a guy, his name is Amir, and he was diagnosed with a cancer, stage 4, when they discovered it. And he came to me when it's after all surgeries, and like it was already a miracle that he was able to live so long. And during his after his surgeries, he started preparing himself for the Ironman, for the triathlon, like very competitive, very strict one. Like the guy who barely could walk start running every day, and like really doctors looked at him as a miracle. But besides his dedication to life, he said that, like, when I going to run, I don't have the purpose to run. Like, I don't have the purpose to run like 5-10 miles at a time. I'm just going to run and like really enjoying. I can stop at any moment and just enjoy the sunset, or just enjoy the beauty that is like really breathtaking beauty of mountains around us. And it's this is what makes the whole purpose different. And it's when we start going outside, like I know about myself, like I don't feel exercised if I did not walk so much steps. But did you enjoy any of the steps? This is like really the purpose. Or did you really notice anything? And so it's how we can enjoy every moment, even if it's a not pleasant moment, uncomfortable. It could be very healing. I'm a little bit in a philosophical mood today. Look, and it's what I was suppressing in myself with this fear that was hidden in me for so long. And it's interesting. So now it's after all this big talk I gave you, I have this honest gratitude to the fear, because so much I really believe there's a huge purpose of it in my life. I would never be here if it wasn't because of it. Okay, so I have 2 corners empty, and I want to bring something here as well. So something that is really important, and I don't know what I want. Okay, I'll start with this one. This one will be faith. My faith that everything has a higher purpose, and that the universe is loving. Wise and loving. So like really. So if you have any questions, please ask. Don't hesitate to interrupt my spiritual talk. So I'm like, I don't know why it shows up. I'm like, today is interesting. It's on last Thursday we had. I'm taking classes right now about how to use Neurographica when you work with children, different age, and we're mostly doing those exercises by practicing on ourselves. And one of the exercises was about honoring your opinion, like what is your opinion and how you express this opinion. It's I was a little bit disappointed that my opinion was so small at the beginning, but it's smaller than I expected. Other people had such beautiful, big, powerful opinions, and I'm just with much less. This is like another topic about my ego, but it's accepting what is your opinion is really helps you to express it. Yeah? Maybe it's not big, but it's mine, and this is important. And it's honestly, it doesn't seem too small anymore.
The funny thing, Anna, is my exercise at the moment is trying to lose my opinions. The irony.
You can lose your, yes, just
to shed them, to give them away, and not hold on to them.
But before you let them go, you have to accept it, and it's
that's true.
And it's really honestly to see, is it big or is it just different from what you expect? And maybe it's already as unique as it should be, and you just have this let go the perception that you're something wrong with your opinion. And like when we let go your opinion, we start listening to others. It's like and it's when we listen to other, it's I know that we have to listen to other, but it's about healthy boundaries as well. What your values, do they really resonate with you? How do you identify what is important or not? Do you accept this somebody's opinion? It's about really letting go judgment. So I would say very important judgment of yourself and about others as well. So.
Yes, I think more mine was more about judgment, but how they get expressed as opinions.
Judgment is a very interesting subject. It's like a sword, like that has two edges. That judgment is supposed to protect ourselves, but it's if you use it not appropriately or use it too much, it will harm you as well, because it's two edges on the sword.
Yes.
Like, interesting. Always fun to work with your judgment. Good luck.
Thank you. It's been interesting. When it comes to the conclusion, it needs to be surrounded by first love and then awareness, or awareness and then love, perhaps.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting that again, there is no bad and good or bad emotions or feelings or even your opinions. It's just a question about quality and quantity. Do you use only mental analytics, or you have a higher consciousness about what you allow to be expressed or seen in other people? What is this one? Interesting. I drew the circle and I don't even know what I was drawing. Maybe I will recognize it when I start coloring. And if you have enough already lines and if you rounded everything, you may start coloring and see, because when we start coloring, we're really inviting archetypes in our drawing, and it's energies of emotions and bigger energies.
Anna,
Yes?
you want to see?
Let me find you.
This one's different.
Okay. Interesting. It looks like a flower. It's different, really different. And I love how big it is. I love how big it is. And it's so much going on. Like it's inside is very rich. And you can bring something on the right lower corner as well. Something to balance everything. Yeah, it could be like smaller or just because it seems something could be there.
Okay. But it's supported enough and loved and all that.
I love, and it's really balanced. Like usually you have a very concentrated some middle and not so much on sides. This is like compared to all your other drawings is like very well balanced. This is like it's a definitely progress for you, and I love how like everything is very well rounded and lines are different. I'm glad, and that all the circles that you brought, that they are not empty. There are so much lines inside of them, so that you explore those qualities and you really know what you're bringing. So, wow.
Yeah, this is healing trauma from work.
Like, so allow yourself. Like, I'm wonder what kind of colors you will do.
Yeah, me too.
So trust yourself. I'm looking forward to see what the colors will be.
Thank you.
And so if it was related to the work, so bring the work itself, like the work that can give you pleasure. This could be on the right side in the corner. Because it's not always the work that caused the trauma. It could be something that if you can remember anything in the past that really brought pleasure from the work, or maybe even in present moments, so something that can really be supportive.
And you said to add something here or on this side?
Right, let me find it. Yes, where you have the finger. Yeah. Right lower corner. And
Okay.
right side is related to work as well.
Yeah, I had quite a few pretty traumatizing events happen at that job.
Okay. Interesting. Like we have it could be a pattern, some special pattern that we really repeating. When we haven't let it go, one of them, we start carrying this energy and we just vibrate that at the level that really will cause like I cannot say it like it's causing, but it's easier to be attuned and attracted to situations that will have the same vibration. So that's why we really letting go, that we can change our vibration and we can move to safer and higher vibration, so more safe people around us, and we will feel safe and they will feel safe around us as well.
I definitely felt or had the realization eventually that I was amplifying the situation at work on occasion because of my energy was so intense because of all the traumas and things. So yeah, I definitely could see how I was amplifying the situation at some points. But at one particular job, I was asked to cover an office and was not given any information. And then I found out that the staff was actually shot by a resident. And I was already sitting in the chair where she was sat when she was shot.
Wow.
So, not the standard, clerical job.
Yes, but it's I'm glad that you really recognize that sometimes we amplify, because this is when you take responsibility, you are not a victim anymore. And when you're a victim, you're in a position like, I do nothing, I'm victim, everybody owes me. When you say like, there is something in me that I can change. This is you taking action to move forward and change something without really depending on other people. You are changing your perception to it, and you're changing from the victim role to the action, to the person who can create a different reality related to the job. So it's, even if it was a very painful experience, very uncomfortable. It's very important to take some portion of the responsibility to not everything. Stuff has happened, and it's not always because of you, but it's there is a healing, like very significant healing when you take this responsibility, at least some of it. Okay, so good luck, because it's like you have a very dramatic events at work. Okay. Whew. And I still have on my drawing this, like, it was, the whole drawing was catharsis, what looks like a teapot, tea kettle, and I still have this tip of the kettle. Well, we'll see.
Now it looks like a big bird to me with all the circles.
Maybe we'll see. I'm starting coloring and see what is going to show up, because last time I did not expect that something will be such a profound drawing about the shaman dancing. Okay, so let's start color. Yes.
Oh, so I have a question of mine. So I have 3 resources. Can I show you mine, and you can tell me if you think I need more before I start to, I don't know if you can see it very well.
Yes, I see it very well. So at yours, they're huge, and you notice how they really crossing.
Yeah.
Like they all united, and they showing you at a very interesting point. There is something that really has this connection, where they have all of them have a connection. And if you can you identify, do you know what is this, where
Are
it
you talking
began,
about
everything?
like right, it seems like right about here?
Yes, yeah, but like, do you feel that it's in the time, there was a point in time when it's everything was connected to this, what you're letting go?
I don't know, but I got really emotional when I drew one of the I don't remember which line it was, one of the Neurographica lines from the middle. I got really emotional, but I don't know what it was.
Just gives a lot of love there, because and you can try to see if there is any body parts resonate with this area, because something like it's interesting when on the drawing everything is pointing to the same point. It's usually specific event has happened.
Okay.
Or is it somebody, like some specific person that everything is related? And this could be the point where everything started. And when you can find this and heal it, it will be, everything else will be healed. But I don't.
It had to do with guilt, so I'm not sure. I don't know if it was something like that I feel guilty about, or, you know, an incident that happened, or what that is. But it would be really great to uncover that and heal that.
So just start coloring and see, because it will be interesting to see which colors will go there. But I don't feel like you need anything else, because those 3 is already so powerful that like they taking all the space.
Okay. And last time I waited to color because I needed to let it settle a bit, and it was better for me than doing it all at once. So I might do that again.
Okay, yes, be very gentle to yourself and see how it really resonates.
Okay, great. So I might go off at this point, log off, and then finish it after it sits a bit for me.
Okay.
And just keep finishing up the lines a bit more.
And you know how to find me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. I love this.
Okay. Nice to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
bye,
nice to see you. Bye. Actually, I'm going to stay on and just color a little more, but I'm not going to color it. I'm just gonna stay on and listen to you.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Whatever. I'll say goodbye when I'm ready. I'm just gonna finish my lines. All right.
Any other questions?
So this time in my drawing, I have so many little circles. Is that represent something, some issues, or it's just the art kind of define?
So sometimes it's interesting that sometimes when you're trying to let go some of those like big significant themes, you need to divide it in smaller portions that it will be not so painful. Like the process can be digested or allowed you to let go in small portions instead of just like one big chunk of it. So this can be related to it, or maybe you just need a little bit more space to breathe, and those bubbles can give you the sense of air pockets. It depends what kind of associations you have to this pockets. Do you like them or you don't like them? So it's
they surprised me. It's not like it or not. I'm like, why I'm doing this? It's like, like previous drawing, it's, well, it is a bigger circles, but this time I'd like to make this small bubbles. Kind of little unusual.
Again, it's maybe something that, I mean, another thing that could be that we have, especially when we bring circles usually represent help. And some people have a big help and it seems like everybody is so generous in supporting them. And for other people, it's a supporting in like teaspoon of support is enough, but it will be one person gives you teaspoon, another person, and it's another 100 people will give you such small support, and it will be enough. Even it doesn't feel like I have a miracle and like so many people like that somebody is like really taking care of myself, but it's of me, but it's the world is helping you, but just a different level and a different amount. So it's could be representing this, and maybe it's something else. So it's really, don't try to just stay with this. And I'm glad that you have this interesting, why I'm doing this. Like this is the best really the way to observe and be curious about how you're changing and how your different patterns show up in drawings related to different themes. And see, maybe it will be, you will see if you have a, when you start coloring them, and they can be completely different meaning.
Thank
if
you.
They want to be colored the same color, or if they want to be different colors, it could be transformed, and it may give you some answers.
Okay.
And when we do, when we use work on different themes, you will notice that lines could be different, catharsis is always different when it's a different theme, and colors will show up different. So there is a different qualities, and we have completely new, like, because the way we're drawing is how our body is talking to us, because body is involved in this process. And it's just observe it, that for different situations, different subjects, we react differently. That's, and the same about other people. So if I react differently on different situations, how do I expect that people will react always the same to different situations? It's it gives you permission, and it gives permission to other people as well to change.
Anna, for example, after this drawing, if I feel that it's still in there, I can draw again on the same theme and the same technique.
Oh, yes, and it will be different drawing, and it will be different, and it could be, you will notice, first of all, you will notice when you do catharsis if there is the same charge of energy related to this theme, or is already a significant shift and significant change. And you will, every time you will release something a little bit more, and maybe at a different level. So, and at every drawing that we're doing, I highly encourage you to notice what has changed. What is there any shift already? Like if you would do, for example, my prior drawing about guilt, like if I would continue the theme, and I have done already with the mother guilt, what kind of do I want to work on next? It could be about guilt, or maybe it's about some specific event that I feel responsible, or something else. Or maybe it will be not about guilt, but about love and integrating this feeling more in my life. So it's every time something is changing, even we name it the same, but there is still be different qualities of the same subject somehow.
Do you usually leave those drawings somewhere where you can see during the day, or you just put them aside?
Some of them yes, some of them no. It really depends about my experience during the drawing. If I felt that it's very powerful and it's had a very significant emotional process for me, I usually keep it somewhere I can see it, or I love to look at them sometimes. The only I have several drawings that like big drawings that I'm always posted in my cabinet on the wall that I can see them all the time. One of them is my whole life drawing, and another is when I did drawing 1 year ahead, like when I was planning what I want to experience year ahead. But the rest, I just keep most of them just in stock and going through them and look and just make sure that on the back of the drawing you write down the date when you draw and what was the drawing about, because it will be after some time you will most likely forget what was it about. You can remember I was like, oh, this is probably was about letting go. What did I was trying to let go? Because at some point it can be so obvious that like there is nothing there left, so there, you don't remember even what was this you worked on. So I usually try to sign my drawings, and I say it, and I haven't signed those two. Okay.
But if I do have on the back the word that we used, is it okay, or better not to have those?
Yes, you can do it, of course. I don't use on the back the words because usually the ink start leaking through the paper. So I usually use some separate page that and I keep this page as well because it helps me to realize how much I allowed myself to let go. So how much I allowed myself progress, like especially if I do 2-3 drawings about the same theme, the words will be different. The words will be shifting significantly. And it's always interesting to notice the dynamic.
And what would be the best time, like for the second time, to draw the same theme?
It really depends on you. There is no limitations like that. You can do it like even within 1 day. The only rule we have in Neurographica is that like when we make a drawing, we activate some neurons and we connect those neurons. So if you do one theme during the 1 day, it will be better. So you don't really mess with neurons in your head. Like if you want to, let's say like I'm letting go fear and I want red dress for another drawing, and somehow they will be connected, all these neurons, maybe something good is coming out of it, but it's not my intention. I want to be as clear and local. So you can do several drawings about the same theme during the day, but don't do several drawings different themes at the same day. So I've done it before. It's just a little bit emotional, overwhelming. But when we do like during this, so you can do it tomorrow if you feel, or maybe you need some time to digest and integrate what you've already experienced it.
But a different theme, it means like let it go. It's like a strategy what we're doing, and for this under this we choose what we want to let it go. Or
so if you have a different things related to letting go, like for example, I want to let go guilt and I want to let go grief. So they could be connected, those two themes, because they could be connected by the same person, or they could be But it would be easier and maybe safer for you to do those drawings on different days. I would not really force you, not highly encourage you to do it at the same day.
Okay.
It's possible, but it's just could be too much. And honestly, I feel like sometimes we need some time to integrate what we've experienced, especially if it was a big experience. And I know that it could be very inspiring. Oh, if I had such a big experience letting go of this, maybe I can do another things and another thing. And it could be just too much. So be very gentle to yourself. Don't really push too hard, because your body needs to adjust as well. We're changing vibration of your body, and it can be higher vibrations need some adjustments, because it's not exhausting, but it needs just some time to adjust. So I would really recommend, like, sleep well, and maybe next day you will have another drawing. When I started to do the healing work and like passing through me energy that like very high vibrations, it's could be very exhausting, because cells of your body starts vibrating on completely different level, and it's not your body is not trained enough. So when healers start, they usually take a lot of rest and water in the middle, so they can adjust and train your body to experience such vibrations. And the same, this is a energetic work as well, so that's why be very gentle to your body. I'm doing it already for 3 years, and I can do not many, but several drawings at a day, during the day. But it's emotionally, it's still be quite a challenge. So be careful with this. Don't overdo it. Last year we had, after the intense training in Russia related to the Neurographica, where we were drawing like for 8 hours every day, different themes in groups, and just one-on-one. And after the drawing was so intense, we had the restrictions that you cannot draw, like touch any color pencil for 2 weeks. It was a challenge. I failed because I had some delayed my homework, so I had to be back on track. But it's for many other people, they really could not stay away from the. It's easy to feel supported by something, and it really helps you to release some energy, tension and agitation on paper. So, and it really, you don't depend on anybody. You can do it whenever you want. You don't need anybody to help yourself, and this is like really very important, that you can do it anywhere, anytime, and the way you want it. You can create your own exercises. The only thing that I highly encourage you, don't try to teach anybody, because there'll still be some limitations. This name is registered and certified, and it requires quite a lot of training. But for yourself, you can do it. Like if you know the basics, you can do it for yourself. Last time I had such a like very concrete image, like very the person dancing on my drawing, and today I'm just doing very abstract shapes, and it's and I feel good about it, that I don't really have this expectations how it should look, because it's different. And if you have already colored, you can add some field lines, as always, to make everything aligned with the universe and feel attuned to the universe and the divine purpose. And we talked about the purpose, and maybe divine process you can be aligned as well. So next class on Friday and next Wednesday will be about soul retrieval, and I'm planning to bring my drum that I brought from Russia, and we'll do some, not shamanic journey, but we'll do some very powerful connection of the soul pieces that we left for some reason, somewhere in time, somewhere in space, and we will collect all of them, unite them as much as we can at that moment, and harmonize them, like integrate back to our world, to our being. Okay, it's interesting. I don't want to do anything else. I want just be these two colors. Very unusual. And I want to do the only thing that I'm going to add some field lines. And I'm aligning myself again. They can follow the lines that already on your drawing, or you may create completely new path. And it could be unusual, but just make sure that you integrate all this corners, round all the corners that will be created. And it could be so you feel supported. And I see more and more my students use watercoloring pencils or even watercoloring paint for coloring, and it's like really interesting effects. It's I've personally never tried, but it's very inspiring. So maybe one day I will allow myself like to experiment with watercolors. I have watercolors pencils.
Is there any specific brand that would be recommended?
I don't know, like I'm honestly haven't tried myself. So it's more other people that I see, and I don't know which brands they use. I have Kohinoor watercolor pencils, and that's all I have. And if I start to use them, I will let you know how they play. I use them even without water, just because the lid is much softer and it's more easier to lay down on the paper. So it's bright, beautiful colors. But I know that there are so many of those watercolor pencils right now. So I haven't tried anything yet. And maybe you want to try the paint instead of pencils. I know that there are some brighter colors or brands that provide bright watercolors. Some are more pale and requires more time to work with. So it's I don't have any information about it. And in general, Neurographica usually we use just regular pencils, like color pencils, and sometimes we use highlighters because they're transparent enough and they bright enough and they cover quite a big chunk of areas. But it's up to you. If you want to use the highlighters, I'm like, as you see, it's very rarely I use the highlighters on my drawings, but I use different dry. I use dry highlighters. You see how small they are. So this is Staedtler this is a neon fluorescent Kohinoor, the hard smooth. It's a just a lid. There is no wood cover. They quite fragile, so they're easy to break, but they could be useful. You can buy them in the Fred Meyer or anywhere. So they not fluorescent, but just regular colors. They're decent quality, and I was using them for several years until I discovered the Prismacolor. And now I'm spoiled and use only this one. It's just yesterday I brought the whole box of my colored pencils and other supplies from my car that was parked outside, and discovered that I have such beautiful pencils that I'm like done already several drawings using them. Yesterday I received a very interesting offer if I want to do sound healing session in park somewhere in Seattle. It's a little bit, there is a worries, anxiety, not anxiety, I'm not a very anxious person, but it's a lot of emotions show up related to this offer. It's interesting how you can go and sing in front of people you never seen before. So if I will have one, I will let you know where you can see me. Okay. So if you use a different color for the field lines, you can, it's not necessary you need to make them black. You can make them red or blue or any color actually. Just it will be a little bit more challenging to integrate them in the whole drawing. And when you have two colors to cross each other, for rounding corners, you always use the color that has that is lighter. So for example, if you black and red integrate, you need to integrate, you do all roundings using red color. So just a general rule about it, but you can do different colors. Be very careful by using metallic markers for field lines, because it's very hard to integrate them in the whole drawing. I used to be big fan of metallic markers, and I have several sets about the different colors, different shades of such markers. The problem is they always look foreign on your drawing. It's they look beautiful but foreign, and the goal of the drawing is to feel united. Everything should be united, and everything should be connected. And if you don't feel that the field lines, divine lines, has connected to everything on your drawing, it's quite a challenge to feel yourself to connect it to the universe. So just, but it's easier if you try and see how it works for you. And if it's not, you're always welcome to come back to the black or whatever color you use. So it's not, I don't really forbid to do anything. So I'm like, experiment, try. And it's will be your opinion about it. Or maybe you find your own way to integrate it and wave those lines into the drawing. Okay, I feel like this is what I'm going to live with. I don't feel I want to add anything else. And it's probably too simple today, but I feel I feel good about it. I don't really want to make big changes. Somehow it's feel organic to me. Completely different from what was done last time. Just 2 colors. Okay, any questions? Do you want to share your drawing? Do you have questions? Do you have anything to share? I'm ready to switch my camera face to face and talk to you. And maybe tomorrow I wake up and say like, oh, I need to add more colors, and you will see completely different drawing on the outline when I post the video on YouTube. This happened several times already. Like when I finish one drawing and it's completely different when I post it. I just trust myself, that's all. I hope you do as well. Okay, so I'm switching before. So my shape that I really highlighted is the middle safety. The safety that was already integrated in the theme fears that I was working with today. And the next step, what I would do, like if I would start drawing another piece about the same theme, I would probably just working on the safety. So because safety is really one of the most important here. So how, and what I see that I want to finish this one. How I want to be feel safe wherever I am and whenever I am. So like it's really the question about not about place, it's about finding safety inside of me, inside of my body. So this is interesting. And 2 colors that I use is a turquoise is usually about creativity, and such yellow, such high yellow is about consciousness. So it's a more creativity and consciousness, creative consciousness. Okay, maybe I need to think about it, but the most important is safety. I feel I feel like how it changed my inhale. Inhale is deeper now. Emotionally, I'm very calm. And I feel safe. This is a very important for me. And I still feel my kidneys, which is new experience for me. Never felt my kidneys before. Okay, so this was about my drawing. Do you want to show yours? Everybody's busy.
This is where I'm at right now.
Okay. Oh, I see. You have like flowers starts blooming around this big, something big.
I'm trying to figure out which one of these to highlight as safety.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
I'm
see it.
curious. And it's like, if you notice, it's like a different, it's really like a rose that has a different layers, and it's covering each other, and it's just waiting when it will be safe enough to be open. So they could be different even colors of petals or the same color. So just trust yourself which color you want. But it's I'm curious how you started. Usually you start from the middle.
I know.
Everything is different about this drawing.
Very much so. Very
And
much
this
so.
time you started from outside and you're going deeper and deeper. So you're collecting all those resources to go to your safe place. It's interesting. Just stay with this. And I'm glad that you see how much resources outside you have. And it's very important. Maybe it's one of the most important realizations for you, that outside you have resources and they available for you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see when it will be done.
Thank you.
Okay. So anybody else?
I'll show you mine.
Okay.
It's only partway.
Okay, so you just wanted to take it easy. Another
I get
thing.
too tired to draw.
Okay, so
But
interesting. So it's interesting that there is this small element that is brown. Yes.
yeah.
Brown.
But then I tried to make it purple again, but it didn't go, so it's still brown. Yeah.
It still be brown. So brown
Yeah.
is all about controlling something that very strict controlling, and it could be about grief, suppressed grief, and so just explore it. And I'm glad how much you have this very innocent pink, or is it, even if it's purple, but it still be very gentle supporting this. Yeah. Next to this brown, it looks like a rock to me, like really granite.
This was actually supposed to be like a butterfly, and that's its head, and these are the wings.
Yes, I see it.
But it could be a rock.
No, but it's it could be just a very heavy head of a butterfly.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see.
So just make sure, if it's a very heavy head, it needs very big wings.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to have as big wings as you need.
Okay.
And brown is not always about sadness. It's about structure as well. So something that could be well defined and very well scheduled, or some structure. So you need,
Mm-hmm.
your butterfly need very clear directions where it goes.
Yeah.
So just
Okay.
explore the options for the butterfly. It's not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's not just like some of this creatures could be free spirit, and some should be well guided, and this is okay too.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Looking forward
Mhm.
when it will be done.
Yeah, we'll see what it turns out like.
So anybody else? Oh, I'm waiting for the
I'm a
drawing.
little behind today.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I need those to add those rounds and color
Okay.
it.
Yes, and you need more resources. You still have you brought those resources, or like I see some of the circles.
No, I haven't done yet with the circles. Yeah.
Okay. So
I feel like this was what I was expected, and then the drawing was much bigger, so I had to add this more.
how did you feel when it was so big? How did it feel?
I didn't expect to have out those. How do you call this?
You can say it in Russian if you want.
Yeah, I forgot.
That's okay. But it's yeah, it's quite a big thing for you. And
Somehow I'm not using a bigger paper, and with this one drawing, I when I started, I felt like maybe I will add some paper. I don't know. I will
so
see.
you have an option, several options. You can just glue additional paper on sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't like when it's glued on sides because the edges and can fall apart. So I usually just take a bigger piece of paper. Like if you have a A4, I take
Mm-hmm.
A2 and or A3, and I just glue it in the middle, and it will be more stable, and it's easier to explore. So like you expanding edges evenly on all sides, and it will but if you don't have a bigger piece of paper, you can glue on sides. It will be just be very careful with this paper. I've seen drawings that have 26 pages glued together. Just person could not stop and start gluing and drawing, and it's a very beautiful piece at the end, but it's still be like if you have options to you expand it right evenly, it just will be easier for you to handle.
Mm-hmm.
But
Is there any timeline when we can send an email?
no, anytime,
Feedback?
anytime. And right now, people like, because I posted this, this is available on YouTube. People who did first, like the lifting inner constraints exercise, they still sending me drawings and ask for feedback. So I'm really looking for different drawings right now, so there is no limitations right now. I'm like, I don't know, maybe in a month I will be overwhelmed with all those drawings, but in this case I will give you an announcement. But I think for next several weeks you will be fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, good luck. I'm looking forward to see when it will be done. Yeah. And I'm like, what is unusual about you? Like, I know because we started like quite few months ago drawing together. It's so many lines you have here. It's very nice how much you really allow yourself to let it go. Each line representing, I'm letting go, and this is very good. And I'm like really highly encouraged to bring even more and bigger resources.
Yeah, like right now I see that this part is has less lines than, for example, this part or this part. So
It's an endless
yeah.
process. It's endless process.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Anybody else?
While I'm here, I'm not finished the color. It's
Okay.
interesting. I prepare different type of colors, but my hands choose the other one. So I don't know what you can see.
Wow, how many lines you have? And
Yeah, I do. And some X shapes, so lots of those ones. So try to fix them. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. I have some message.
what is the resource that, like, the circle on the top right corner? This one, yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was it?
Yeah, that was my last, gosh, what was it exactly? Well, it's sort of wish to
Certain
fix.
wish.
Yeah, so the end, I'm done with whole gift, whatever, like projector of the future, let's say that way.
It's interesting. Everything is really moving toward that wish.
Mm-hmm.
So how the flow is really going to reach that wish, and it's more like a, I would say it could be even not a portal. It's I don't want to make it a very woo-woo stuff, but some kind of transformative point when it can be in. Everything is leading there. Like, it's really not just about one color, but everything at flow. And I love how big and strong flow is. There is did you use watercolor?
No, actually, the prime, whatever its name, Prismacolor.
Prismacolor. It's a very beautiful, has this quality that it's dissolving. The color is like really alive here. So
I dissolve with very light gray over here. So very light gray, showing like a movement, because I did feel, I even look at it, it's like my heart want to go through. It's like energy flowing, like go as soon as possible, hurry up, like speed.
Everything is really focused on that. It seems like small circle compared to the rest, but it's a very powerful, and it's so much force is going there. What you mentioned that you have a smaller bubbles this time. Did you have any different opinion about them? Like, do they start reminding you something, or is it just
You know how in a life we have a small things we should not care about. So I guess for me, I feel this like a small little detail we should let go.
okay?
You know, just not in like very important part, but we kind of focus on it for some reason. Yeah.
And it's what interesting about your drawings that when you have so many lines, and lines usually represent thoughts, like how really we're thinking, like you thinking a lot, and like a restless mind. It's you think about each small detail. And in emotions, like colors usually represents emotions. You have like they are more profound, and for emotion is really small details doesn't matter. But combining those two, what makes your drawing is very rich and interesting to explore. Like, you can go in small details and look each corner of your drawing, and it will be unique and interesting. So I cannot say that, like, oh, let's make less lines, because lines are important as well. We need to think about some stuff before we go there, and we need to allow ourselves to dream about something, because wherever we go, move our thoughts, energy is moving as well. But when the energy is established, the flow is established, the like we already dig the channel, it will be easier to move the emotion through this, like water. When water starts flowing through the digged channels, everything will be smooth. And I love how you have the small details and big picture with the colors. So interesting. It's different from what you usually do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told you in the beginning. It's like, that's strange where I go. But you know me, I'm a little detailed than other maybe people.
It's okay. It's good. This is what makes you unique. And it's but even in this drawing, your uniqueness is different from what you've done before. So
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is interesting to explore.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. Thank
thanks
you.
for sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
Anybody else? You, as always, you are welcome to send your drawings to me, and I will just one more time, I'll type my email for if you haven't done it before. Okay. So right now we're almost done. So it's almost 3 p.m. in Seattle. So next time on Friday at 6 p.m. and next Wednesday at 12 Pacific time, we are going to work on a theme that is soul retrieval, not solar, soul retrieval. So you can start, prepare yourself and just think about wherever you could left your soul, whatever is, you still be emotional. Okay, Kenny. Nice. Look. Let's see. I love how everything is colorful. And it's even it's still be colorful, but it's different what you color usually. You'll usually use a lot of orange and bright yellow. This is different. So like it's just different quality of the whole drawing. And another thing that I want you to try to explore, like see if it resonates with you or not. If you allow yourself to blend colors, so when you have contrasting colors like yellow and purple next to each other, that the edge between them is not as well defined. Like if you allow just purple merge and blend gently with yellow. Okay, so it will be interesting. And purple next to the pink is always beautiful. It's one of my favorite combinations.
I'm enjoying this one.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. I love how it's green and everything is beautiful. So like really, but the most excited thing about this drawing that you started from outside and going to inside. This is like, this is a very big step for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Like really allow yourself to color it maybe in the way that you've never done it before. You already started doing unusual, so experiment. You know how you usually do it, and so you can allow yourself to play with this. It's not a game, but it should be a play. It should be joy. There should be fun about it. So don't we forget about having fun in serious matters, and it's allow inner child to be joyful. Okay, so anybody else, any other questions? We have Liso. Okay. Wow, you have a vortex.
It was a vortex. Yes.
It's a very interesting how it's like really. Okay, so my headphones died, so you can start hearing your voices as well. So it's interesting how colorful everything is. It's one of your most colorful drawings. And how everything is spinning. There is so much dynamic in this drawing. And when we have this, not spiral, but when we have this vortex, there is a two sensations. Like you can have feelings that like this is can suck you in, or opposite when it's expanding and allow everybody like drink from the whale. So this is I have like, you can share a lot. It's not just you taking from the outside, but you giving a lot. And this is like very interesting when we're talking about letting go. You have so much not just to let go, but to share with others. How do you like your drawing? Wait, somebody.
I'm sorry, Anna. We're in a storm, so I lost you. Went out.
Okay. So you have a storm right now.
We're in a big rainstorm, and my husband's on the internet, so we dropped.
So I was talking about that your drawing represents how much you really can share. And it's interesting when you're letting go your opinion like about your that you want to, maybe you just need to start sharing it because it's so beautiful and colorful. It's like
well, it actually was more about judgments, you know, and how they come as opinions. And it's interesting, the cathartic went around and around in a sphere. And when you start filling in a sphere, wherever it intersects, you get into these very tight angles, these tight cul-de-sacs. And I thought, yes, that is the problem with opinions and judgment. And the fact that it went around and around in a sphere, I thought, oh, this has gone on for generations. You know, this being controlled by judgments, but the resources are awareness and love. And then it becomes something more kaleidoscopic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was feeling very grateful, you know, that I come from these ancestors who had certain judgments about when to escape famine and where to settle and what to do. And so the judgments have, when they're with awareness and care and love, are great assets too. But it was interesting coming into these tight angles, and I realized if I stay with judgments and opinions, I end up in cul-de-sac. And I need to break out with those awarenesses and the love, I think.
It's a very profound experience. If you're going to ancestral lines, it's already very powerful. What I want to you bring attention, that when you start coloring, notice how in some areas you still coloring separate segments. And it means that it's very beautiful, but you're going to detail too much. And when you're going to details, this is where the judgment starts, like, because you don't see the whole picture, you don't see bigger pictures, and it's very limiting you. But if you allow yourself to color bigger segments, like unite several areas together, you will have a perception of it from different angle, and it will give you the sense of flow, and it will give you more energy and more powerful archetypes invited in your drawings. And it still be and it's interesting, like right now I'm looking at your drawing, it looks like an eye. Like when you look in eye, an eye is usually, you know what represents eye in drawings? It's usually represent God.
No.
That eye of the God. And just look, and this is not just about, like, it's about how I can look at everything through the eyes of the God, like how I can look at everything and do not judge, just see the colorful, and you can see all the aspects of the color. You have so much colors in your eye. And this is a interesting, like very interesting. And it's so different from what you've done before. So like, I need to think about it. Like I have some shiverings about when I look in the depths of your eye, in the depths of your drawing. I think we lost you again because of the storm. Okay. So Liesl,
I'm sorry, Anna.
did you hear anything I told you? So I will text you, okay? Because I don't want really to. We are losing you constantly because of the storm, so I will text you what I've seen in your drawing. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? So, and I see we have a new person, and we will meet later with Marina later a little bit today. Okay, ladies. Thank you. Thanks a lot for being with me today, for witnessing my experiences and my letting go, and allowing me to be a witness of yours. It's a very powerful exercise and very powerful experience to share it with you. So next time we will talk and draw soul retrieval, something very interesting. I hope it will be as powerful as this one. And thanks a lot and have a great day. Drink water and take care of yourself.
Anna, okay. May I ask a question?
Yes.
What time did you start? Because I received an email, it started 6 p.m.
Yes, our class with you will be at 6 p.m.
So it's a new class, 6 p.m.
Yes. Right. Will be
okay, sorry about it, guys.
No. This is just